What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is episode 777 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here with a guest co-host today who I roped into this at the last minute. Introduce yourself, sir.
What's up, my friends? My name is Raymond J. Stanley Jr. I work here at Timcast Media Group. Brett needed some assistance, and after I got done doing my snow stuff, it was a pleasure to be on today, Brett.
That was actually what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that what was going on was so we had they were talking about a big snowstorm, which didn't end up being a big snowstorm. It ended up being a mild snowstorm. It snowed extensively for like 8 to 10 hours, but just not enough to stick to the ground super bad. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the driveway into the to the compound was not in need of being shoveled and everything being cleared off. Though, right?
Yeah, got to make it safe for everyone who's working here.
And then everybody gets, this is one of the hardest parts about this job, right? So sometimes I got to just be like, hey, you person who's got a job to do, can you come in here and stop what you're doing and come help me do this show today, which he's going to help me do.
It's all part about being a team.
So before we get started, we did have a 20. Did you see that one there?
I did.
From Cartoon Post.
There was a Shane was before him, wasn't
he?
Oh,
that's not
a
10,
10, my bad.
Yep.
Cartoon Post says, not gonna lie, I don't agree with him on stuff, but I find Kanye really funny, and he might be but
yes.
He is R.
Yes.
You know that.
Mary would say beep in that context.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a beep.
But he's our beep.
Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. Mary is, so what happened was people in the chat were asking where we were yesterday. So Monday, Mary was under the weather, and Tuesday she was supposed to be back, but she was still under the weather, and I was unable to find anybody to fill in for yesterday's show. So I did record 4 separate segments. 2 of those came out today, 2 of them coming out tomorrow. You should check those out when they come out. The Blake Lively one from yesterday did pretty well today, so you guys should check that out. She will be gone the rest of the week. Phil will be filling in. He will forever be cursed with being called filling in on Thursday and Friday, so the show will be going forward. I got plenty of messages yesterday on X of people saying, where is my 3 to 5 p.m. background noise? Well, we are going to provide that for you here today. I am also doing my best, so I don't know if it's a health kick, but I'm going to attempt to wait to drink my energy drink until we are at least an hour into the show today, because, personal improvement.
Yeah.
It's important.
Chat's got to call him out, too, if you see him do it beforehand.
Yeah, it's not, well, you'll see it open at maybe at 4 o'clock. You'll hear the thing open. Until then, we're gonna drink a Spindrift. So what are we getting into today? Well, we are going to talk about Kanye West. I saw some people in the chat pointing out, yes, the video of all of the celebrities calling him out is in fact AI, but we're going to talk about that, and we are also going to talk about this new lawsuit that he is facing from a former employee. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Captain America: Brave New World, which has debuted, and what is going on right now is there were protests last night at the event where people who were pro-Palestine were protesting the film, saying that Disney is in support of genocide because they have the character Sabra in there, who is in the comics a Mossad officer, but of course they have changed that in the actual film, so they're actually protesting nothing. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a bunch of celebrities who still absolutely hate Donald Trump. It's so funny to talk about that in the current year when all of the tech world and so many other people seem to be bending over backwards to try and accommodate the new administration. Yep. There are still some hilarious people that are very, very butthurt about everything and are complaining. And I think in particular, Judd Apatow's are the most boomer coded. So we're going to talk about that. Also, I want to share with you a brand new TikTok trend that is going to prove to you that the Darwin Awards can't be won on TikTok. It's basically what's going on is people in their desperate desire to have clout are dropping heavy things on their feet so that you will watch it on the internet and hopefully like, comment, and subscribe to them. Speaking of which, guys, you should like, comment, and subscribe on this channel. You should share this video, these live streams, with your friends and your family and your loved ones and the people in your life that you like, don't like. And if you have a mortal enemy, you should share the video with them as well, because the more people that you share this content with, the faster this channel can grow. So we thank you guys so much for that. I did put a question in the chat earlier. It says, can we get Raymond 2 crisis parties today? Inquiring minds want to know, so let's hope that we can actually achieve that goal. But if you're ready to get started, oh, by the way, we are going to wait to read all Super Chats other than the 20s. We will read those as we go, as always. All other Super Chats we will read once we finish all of the topics today. Just easier to do that because we don't have the spreadsheet here. So you ready?
Yes, I am. And I have faith in the crisis actors giving us the two parties.
I have faith as well. I mean, we're providing them with their 3 to 5 p.m., bland noise to listen to in the background while they work. How can they not help us? All right. Let's go ahead and get started then, guys. So what is going on right now is that Kanye West is being sued by a Jewish staffer after he texted this staffer a whole bunch of really, really awful stuff. And there are text messages attached to all of this. This is a Jane Doe. Did you see that in there, that there was no name given?
No, I missed that part.
Yeah, no name given. He was also dropped by his talent agency, 33 and West, and the Shopify page that he put up with his with the swastika shirt that was taken down, so we're going to get into that as well. So let's go through this. It says a former marketing staffer for Kanye West sued him on Tuesday, alleging that he fired her after calling her ugly and texting her the desire to, as you see, what he said. HH.
Yes.
Not good. Yes. Not good, guys. The staffer, who is Jewish, alleged that West routinely targeted his Jewish employees with hateful and anti-Semitic comments. I guess to me, when I read this initially, the first thing I think of is I think of what he was doing recently, which is a whole bunch of Twitter vomit, right? He's just saying a bunch of stuff on Twitter. That feels like a manic episode to me, whereas the continued behavior feels like a pattern. But even here, I guess maybe it's just my own take, is it's crazy that you would even put up with that to begin with.
As the employee,
the employee,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
I would just if somebody said crazy shit like that to me, I would just quit. But I get the point of wanting to file a lawsuit because they're claiming that all of this stuff was said almost instantaneously. So it says the lawsuit filed in LA Superior Court includes text messages from West to employees in which he basically admitted to being a Nazi, and he hopes that they're excited to work for Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to your first day of working for Hitler.
What would you think? If you'd gotten hired somewhere and you get here first day and that's and Tim sends you that text message, what the heck do you do?
I'd be like, thank you for having me. Mm-hmm. But the very first time if someone went crazy like that, I mean, I'm their employee, who would stick around even though Kanye has clout and she can kind of go off his coattails or whatever and expand her horizons.
I mean, that seems to be the biggest part for so many people. Not necessarily this person. I can't speak to this person. But a lot of it is what Hollywood has taught most people is that they will put up with a lot if it means that they're going to get something out of it. That's what a big crux of Me Too wasn't just the assault cases, but the amount of women who were willing to put up with awful things because it was going to forward their movie career. There's a 20 there from the Manic Mustache.
Sorry about that.
Got
guys.
that
Getting out. Yep, we got it. Manic Mustache says, y'all know that Valentine's Day is a scam created by Big Cocoa. Doesn't mean your woman doesn't deserve flowers or a heart-shaped pizza.
It says, when was the last time you welcomed your man home with a cold drink? Stay toxic, my friends. We actually did our Valentine's Day. We did Valentine's Day gifts the other day. And then it was so funny. She made pasta last night, and then it became a big kerfuffle online because people were criticizing Olivia's pasta, which is unfair and awful. The pasta was delicious, but this is why you don't have the internet, because the internet is a horrible place and is a no good place for anyone who wants to actually produce wholesome content of any sort.
It looked quite delicious. Did it taste as good as it looked?
It was really good. She made the sauce from scratch. The latest lawsuit, one of many filed by West's former employees over the past year, describe anti-Semitic behavior that took place from January to June of 2024. The plaintiff, identified only as Jane Doe, was hired as a marketing specialist in December of 2023. 2 weeks later, West issued an apology in Hebrew for other anti-Semitic comments. According to the suit, the contrition did not last long. In January, she suggested that West denounce any ties to Nazism amid controversy over his forthcoming Vultures Volume 1. A coworker relayed this advice to West, who responded with his text, proclaiming himself to be a Nazi.
She also called him a cornball. I mean,
no, he was calling people a cornball.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to come back from.
Very offensive.
It's a very hard one to come back from when somebody calls you a cornball.
It's like calling him a Melvin, if you remember that.
Yes, if you've got glasses, you will be called a Melvin at some point. I did see somebody say that to me. They're like, "You got a haircut, but you still have the Rachel Maddow glasses." I said, "No, Rachel Maddow has my glasses."
Dang right.
That's the thing. It says, according to the suit, he then went on an extended rant in a group chat comparing himself to Hitler and berating her. Later that evening, the suit alleges he continued to attack her, calling her ugly and stupid and saying, "Come destroy me." B word. If we're going to try to, I try to do so much better about swearing. It's usually not until an hour into the show that I break down and start cussing. She was fired the next day. So she's, wrongful termination and such. So it doesn't shock me at all. And it's just another step in a long line of things that keep going on for him. He was obviously, after his most recent Twitter tirade, he was dropped from his talent agency following the anti-Semitic behavior. This was what they said in relation to it here. It says, West had been removed from the agency's music roster, and the representative did not disclose how long he had been their client. Daniel McCartney of 33 and West was tasked as West's agent and posted on Instagram on February 10th that he and the agency would stop working with the rapper effective immediately due to his harmful and hateful remarks that myself nor 33 and West can stand for. Not shocking to anyone at all. Most of the discussion with Kanye now seems to be that he's turning into a bit of a meme.
Yes, he is.
Like, is that what it feels like to you?
Yeah, for going ballistic and going nuts and having like a quick breakdown. Like if you're gonna pull a Kanye, so someone's at night gets really mad and they're just gonna go tirade and
to me,
say all
like
kind of crazy stuff.
When people were calling out his comments and declaring him a Nazi, and when I see a bunch of posts that are like 5,000 texts or tweets, all of which are in all capitals, that just screams manic episode to me. And I feel like it's better compared to, like, if you were to see a dude on a street corner screaming all of this stuff at you, I don't think I would take them seriously. No. I would think that they were mentally unwell and in need of help, which kind of feels like that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing an artist who, having a past record of very, very high success, a lot of people calling him a musical genius. A lot of times genius and insanity are pretty closely correlated. So when I see somebody going off the deep end and saying a bunch of stuff that seems to be completely not out of left field, but over the top, I'm just like, well, what do you want me to take from this? The dude's like, it seemed weird when a lot of people were like, he's clearly advocating for all this stuff. I'm like, even if that's true, it's worthy to talk about, but I don't take it seriously because it comes off like he's insane.
Yes. I don't know if you saw, he also did one of the last ones he did was like, thank you. I did what I wanted to do. I said all the words I wanted to say. I spoke the truth. Not the truth, but he said what he wanted to, and then he was still allowed to stay on X. Can
you think of anybody that's had a corresponding, like, I think about it in the context of like, Mel Gibson has his breakdown 20 years ago, and people still hold it against him now. He has the video that comes out when he's being pulled over, and all of the comments that came out. And no matter how many rational discussions he's had since then, no matter how much he has apologized for what he said, you're never really forgiven anyways. And that's kind of the worst part of modern culture, is you're not going to be forgiven. So given I don't know whether Kanye actually believes this stuff or not, if I had to guess, I would say he probably does, and he uses it in a context that will also kind of provide shock and awe that benefits his brand. Do I think he means it? Yeah, but that also means that a lot of other people who say stuff out of turn aren't going to get the chance at being forgiven in any sense of the imagination anymore, because nobody wants to be seen as getting duped. Like nobody's a lot of people now get really upset when you don't get it right in your first take when responding to somebody who says something, because nobody wants to feel like they're the guy who got duped. The same stuff is going on right now with Nala, with people talking. People talking about whether she duped everyone and she's actually making content that's actually suggestive, because nobody wants to feel like, oh, I gave her the chance and I believe that she had changed her ways and then she proved me wrong, because they don't want to feel like they got taken advantage of. I feel like going forward with grace is better anyways, because it allows you to, if somebody is truly bad and then they go back on their word, look, that doesn't say anything about you other than you were willing to give them a chance at changing. I don't think it means you're naive.
Do you, I think Kanye back in 2022 is when he first got canceled, and people forgave him and let him come back to the world. He's doing it again, so I feel like he's too big of a celebrity that they'll always forgive him.
He is too big to fail in a lot of ways. Like the fact that he can buy a commercial on his own means that he's kind of insulated from the consequences of a lot of things. That actually brings up the point. If you guys didn't see the commercial, we did talk about it on Monday. He released a commercial where he was in a dentist chair getting his new teeth done, and then he asked people to go to his website, where on his website all he was selling was a single white shirt with a swastika on it. And it drove a lot of people crazy. But then what happened was Shopify, which is the site that was hosting it, they took it down. And they are saying that they did not take it down because it was a swastika. They're saying they took it down because it's liable for fraud. So this is what they said. In a message which was posted to the company's internal Slack on Tuesday morning, General Counsel Jess Hertz said that the swastika emblazoned t-shirt listed for sale by West was a stunt and not a good faith attempt to make money. Well, like, I don't know. Like, if anything, somebody who's truly evil is going to be like, I'm not just going to make do the stunt. I'm going to make a bunch of money off of it as well.
Yeah, he is a fashion icon.
Yeah. This, Hertz added, brought with it a real risk of fraud. It was for this reason that she added the store had been closed. The Nazi t-shirt had been for sale on West's Shopify-powered store since early Monday, with Shopify taking it offline around 24 hours later in a public statement issued following the takedown. Spokesperson Katie Gray said it had been removed from the Yeezy store because the merchant did not engage in authentic practices and was a violation of the company's terms. I would like to actually know, like, what do they mean by how can they judge authentic? Like, is the idea that the shirts, they would have to know that maybe the shirts weren't real?
Copyright claims? You can't use that symbol?
I mean, nobody's trying to copyright claim that symbol, right? Like, is the idea here that they never intended to sell it out? Because I was under the impression that Shopify was similar to like a Teespring. Maybe I'm wrong, where it's like,
that's what I thought it was.
You know, you have a Teespring store here and they buy your designs, but it's shipped out by someone else. If the idea was that he was supposed to ship them out himself and they just never got produced, that would be a certain type of fraud. But otherwise, how do they determine what equals fraud and not authentic commerce?
Yeah, and I want to know how many he sold, if he sold any.
I'm
curious to find out if he got a lot of sales out of that thing.
Well, what's funny is, so people were commenting back on this. Hillary Duff's husband, which is funny because then now who this guy is just Hillary Duff's husband rather than a guy by, not, you know, his name's Matthew Coma, has a clear and concise response to Kanye's recent anti-Semitic behavior. He released a shirt that said F yay. And then what's funny is people are like, you should give the money to charity. I'm like, I really hope that was his initial plan, because there's no way people would have bought it as like authentic pushback if he was going to make money off of it. The whole point was that he would have to give it to charity.
Yeah.
Right?
It's, I mean, it's a great commercial when we show it. I'm sure.
So he's a singer and a songwriter. Does anybody know who this guy is? Because I don't know who Matthew Coma is. I feel like somebody's going to be like, he's part of some big band, but it's not somebody I've ever heard of. And if he was, he wouldn't have been related as Hillary Duff's husband. He would have been related as Matthew Coma, lead singer of this band.
Is that what the article said? It said Hillary Duff's husband?
Yes, that's what it said, Hillary Duff's husband.
So he's doing well for himself, apparently, because Hillary Duff is, you know, nobody knows about Hillary Duff anymore.
Farfig Nugan in the chat says, I thought this was a free country. Yeah, like it absolutely is a free country. I would have wondered whether it would have been a real sign of the pendulum swing if they would have allowed that shirt to stay up for sale. That would have actually been a huge moment if they had allowed that shirt to hang up for sale. Whatever you think of the message, I don't imagine that there are any stores online that are going to put their reputations at risk by selling something that, you know, purposely inflammatory.
Yeah, they would lose a lot of advertising for sure. It'd be an ad apocalypse for them.
Well, there's like nobody's there, like, because then what's going to happen is, or at least let me break it down like this. So if they stand on principle and they leave it up, a lot of people will cheer that decision. But what happens for the company is that from then on out, anytime they end up in the news, whether it's something about their stock reports, something about the CEO, it's Shopify, who openly allows Nazis on their platform, does this, this, and this. And we can argue about whether that's fair. It's usually not fair of the journalist to categorize something that has nothing to do with this other thing right? Where they're like, Shopify stock goes up 15%. And then even though it has nothing to do with that shirt being for sale, they're like, Shopify, who is clearly a Nazi sympathizer, had a great day on the stock market today. And that's used as ammo by journalists who don't want to operate in good faith and just want to use it as a way to signal to their base that they don't support this business because the business allowed this person to sell this merchandise on there, even if they don't agree with it. Right?
It's like indirect cancel culture in a way.
Yeah. It's just a sign of big business. It would have been a wild image to see them allow it to stay up, but I never expected that to happen. I'm actually surprised it took as long as it did for that to shut down. All right. So I don't know if you guys also saw this. I saw plenty of people in the chat mention it when I put this in the background for the live thumbnail today. But in response to Kanye West's recent tirade online, that's how they phrase it. It's a tirade. You know, his all caps lock coup d'etat against all of the internet, whether it's him talking about anti-Semitism, whether it's him talking about how he's perceived in the industry, how he talks about Jews, that's his language. Yes. A lot of people have come out against him. And one of the things that did come out was this AI video. Did you see this? You did. You reposted it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it is AI. And we are going to watch it here, and then we are going to talk about it because Scarlett Johansson, who's had all sorts of issues in the past with dealing with AI deepfakes, is included in this, and she is now calling on the U.S. government to try to pin down legislation to fight back against stuff like this, which is almost a fool's errand and impossible to do.
Right, you can.
So let's go ahead and watch this video, guys. It is hilarious. Okay, how fake it is.
Yeah.
But we'll keep watching.
Yeah.
That was how you should have known it was fake.
Yeah, and Drake.
Yeah. His mouth never moves despite the fact that his arm is moving up.
Enough is enough, guys.
Yes. All right. So what I think it's crazy about it is, like, have you noticed that everything with AI has to be in like 60 to 120 frames a second, and there's very little at a normal frame rate? Everything's in slow motion.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
that makes sense, yeah.
Like when you watch it, like very little of what you're watching here is anybody actually moving at a normal speed. Drake does. Slow motion. His face never moves when he's going down.
Just straight face.
Yeah. I mean, logic would ask the question, like, how did they get all of these people together in like 2 seconds to make this video, like a day after all of this stuff happened? But putting Woody Allen in it is certainly a choice.
It's very questionable.
It's a very questionable choice. But what would happen is Scarlett Johansson decided to comment on this, and she wants legislators to limit AI after the viral video.
We have a 20
from
Pop Culture Junkie. The CEO of Canadian company Shopify is Harvey Frankenstein, who is Jewish.
Well, I mean, in that case, it's even crazier that they did not ban it because of the image and that they're doing so. Though I think that the other one, I think that their answer there, it was always because it was a swastika, and they were using corporate speak to try and get around saying we're limiting. Even if 90% of people would agree with what you're choosing to limit, you're saying it's not a free speech issue. It's some type of corporate secondary slop that doesn't actually sound like you're actually saying anything.
No, it's a PR game.
Yeah. So this is what she said in her statement. It says, "It has been brought to my attention by family members and friends that an AI-generated video featuring my likeness in response to an anti-Semitic view has been circulating online and gaining traction. I am a Jewish woman who has no tolerance for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind, but I also firmly believe that the potential for hate speech multiplied by AI is far greater than any one person who takes accountability for it. We must call out the misuse of AI, no matter its messaging, or we risk losing a hold on reality." That's pretty bold. I mean, the video is something in support of something she agrees with, and she still thinks that making the video was wrong.
I guess from her previous experience, she doesn't want herself out there at all.
Well, yeah, because the thing is yes, it was used properly this time, but any other time it's used with her, it's usually AI deepfake nudes or something that's egregious to her. So she's trying to remain intellectually consistent on all fronts because she's saying, look, if I want to speak out about this, I'll do it. I don't need somebody else, parroting my words, because sure, they said it about something I agree with here, but they could very easily say something make me look like I'm saying something I disagree with in the future.
Yeah, it could be like the Taylor Swift AIs from a couple like a year ago.
Did you see the video after the Super Bowl where she's seeing like giving tips to the workers on the field? It's so funny. That felt like PR to me, where like she asked her her manager or whoever she might be with, she's like, could you take this video of me walking out and tipping the people working at the...
That's what she was doing, is handing out like 20s.
She's handing out money to like like vendors as she was leaving the stadium.
Okay. Well, after she got booed, I mean, she had to make up for it somehow.
Exactly. She's always working.
Yes.
She continues, I have unfortunately been a very public victim of AI, but the truth is the threat of AI affects each and every one of us. There is a 1,000-foot wave coming regarding AI that several progressive countries, not including the United States, have responded to in a responsible manner. It is terrifying that the United States government is paralyzed when it comes to passing legislation that protects all citizens against the imminent dangers of AI. I would like to know, what to outline what those are.
Imminent dangers?
What are the imminent dangers? For her, it's because her likeness is public, right? Yeah. And you can obviously do a lot of bad with it. You can make people look like they've done something that they didn't do, things like that. But
punching a homeless person, there's very many options.
But the problem is legislation would have to outline exactly what it means and what the punishment for those things would be.
It would have to be a huge document to cover all the aspects
and
of
it wouldn't either, right? It would end up crammed in some omnibus bill.
CR,
and it would be something that people would be worried could be used to leverage against the American people, which is why it's so hard to get people on board to pass any type of new law these days. So it goes on. I urge the U.S. government to make the passing of legislation limiting AI use a top priority. It is a bipartisan issue that enormously affects the immediate future of humanity at large. I tend to think that bipartisan anything is a bad idea because most of the time when they're agreeing on something in the uniparty, it means you or I are going to get screwed.
Why a top priority? She doesn't care about feeding the homeless. No. Taking care of the kids. She's worried about her AI getting out.
Well, I mean, it's still a big concern, right? That's like hierarchy of needs, right? People need to be fed. People need to be housed, or as they say, unhoused, right? But the risk to tax-paying citizens, meaning mom and dad have a kid whose child has a video made about them by somebody else in school that makes them look like they did something, and then the kid becomes distraught and withdrawn. That doesn't just affect the people who take tax money, but it affects the people who actually pay in, which is actually tends to be the people who they want to, or it used to be the people who they wanted to help. That doesn't seem to be the truth anymore.
That is a good thought. I never thought about that aspect where it could harm. AI is going to get so good that they could go ahead and ruin some kid's life, and then he can have some terrible effects.
That's how I always imagined it being. So I was watching an episode of I've told you guys I've been really liking the show called High Potential. With Caitlin Olsen, and it's a very, very paint by numbers procedural with a gimmick, meaning that she's like a consultant who's got like a 100, she's a really high IQ, very, very paint by numbers. And they do an episode where a guy who owns an AI company, a deepfake company, gets murdered, and then it comes back to the fact that it was that the app was misused by someone, and they try to wrap it up in a bow with like, oh, they caught the guy, and they're gonna try to push forward legislation, and I'm like, I wish the world was that simple. It's one of the reasons I love so many, like me and Olivia are watching Leverage. She'd never seen it.
Oh, it's a good one.
And I love how every episode is wrapped up in a bow. It's like, oh, we got the bad guy. Yeah. Even though he's a billionaire, he's going to jail, and here's $1 million to help with your cause and stuff like that. There's a kind of an addiction this country has via social media now to want that outcome. They want that wrapped in a bow, neat fix that they've gotten from movies and television for the last 20 years. That's just not the way the real world works. And sadly, if you wanted to see legislation like this passed, you would need to have celebrities be on board with trying to push it through, because they're not going to listen to mom and dad.
No.
They're not going to listen to kids complaining about it. They're going to listen to people who they feel have clout that they can use down the line. So unfortunately, to get any playthrough in government, if you wanted to see something like this happen, it would have to be done that way with the help of celebrities. And I just don't think that that's actually what's going to happen. But I did find the video interesting. I felt like including Woody Allen was absolutely like who's going to be the first person to call it out, right?
Yeah,
like it felt like
I saw the Drake. And
if they had left, well, even Drake is like that. That was only in the front of everyone's mind because of the Kendrick stuff,
sure,
right? But having Woody Allen in there feels like I dare you to call it out, right? Because what I noticed with a lot of the people that were covering it, they're like, because they liked the message of the video, they specifically left out, they listed a bunch of the people featured, but mysteriously left out Woody Allen because they know that including that makes it look really, really bad.
Yeah, he is known for certain conduct and relationships that he's had in the past.
Very, very Hollywood conduct. Bad Hollywood conduct. You don't want to do that. All right. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
I want to go cute today. I usually go cringe.
Cringe? Okay. We'll do cute of the day first. I'll get rid of this.
Let's go cute in this.
Who do we got for cute of the day here today? All right. This one from Alex Making Beds says, send some love to Samu. He is feeling sad after my mom went out of town for a week. I'm so glad it wasn't worse than that.
Yeah, I was prepared.
Every time we do a cute of the day, we're like, let's raise the vibe in the room. And then it's like, this is my pet that passed away.
Well, Samu, I hope Samu feels better.
We hope Samu feels better.
Yeah, when mom's going to get home.
Yes.
Yeah, when you were getting there, I just thought, oh no.
No, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yep. I'm glad you didn't.
All right, we got a 20 there from Shane H. Wilder. I got it. So it says, I mentioned before that the Vatican released a document on AI, and Antiqua et Nova. There's no Mary here, so if we're doing Latin here, I'm not your guy. Ancient and new. They stated how it's a tool that, like any tool, can be used for good or ill, and is our responsibility to use it for good. See, that's why you guys should go watch Person of Interest. As I always tell you, in the show, the evil AI Samaritan has been programmed with no ethics and no morals, whereas the good AI, the machine, has been programmed with Finch's morals, ethics, and sense of right and wrong. It's a fantastic show. You can reset the clock, and you've got that for PCC bingo for the day. It's actually insane the amount of times we talk about AI where I don't mention it. That's the real thing. Last Friday, AI came up on IRL, and there was at least 2 points where I was like, I should bring it up. And then I just didn't.
Person of interest.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up, and I just decided, because they were talking about another movie talking about AI. I'm like, well, you want to watch the real one that's good? Here, watch this one. All right, this is from Taylor. It says, look how cute my dog Chloe is, the way she is holding on to my arm so tight after I got home from work. Aww. Well, yes, the puppy doesn't want you to leave. The puppy wants you to stay home. They don't care that you have to go to work and make a living. They just want you to be home with them.
They want tummy rubs. Tummy rubs.
Yes, so that is true. That is very cute. All right, now it is time for the cringe of the day.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you guys remember the story from last week about the 500-pound rapper who was suing Lyft? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, well, she went on the Breakfast Club. Thank you.
Hey.
Woo! There's one.
Oh, new song. First time hearing it.
Yep.
Okay.
Like it?
Yeah. I like the, it has like a little Japanese flair to it or something like that.
That is a clip of Barron Trump when Barron Trump was a kid saying, I like my suitcase.
Really?
That somebody turned into a song.
Freaking fabulous. Fabulous.
All right, so cringe of the day. Last week we covered the story of the 500-pound rapper who was suing Lyft because the poor guy was like, you can't fit in my car.
You're gonna blow up my tires.
You're gonna blow up my tires. My axle's gonna compound. Like, all is done. Well, she went on the Breakfast Club, and she couldn't fit in the chair.
Oh.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Ken, how you, brother? You good?
It definitely has to be in widescreen.
Yep. This the only seat y'all got?
Oh, shoot.
What you want? What you need?
There's one more. A bigger chair or something.
But she already knew.
We had
Bro, they brought out a sectional.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is what
Good. This is accommodation.
There you go.
I would love to see the leg break on that.
You walked in and you said the chair was too small, so we had to bring the part of the sectional for you to sit in. And you said something. You said, "Now this is what I'm talking about: accommodations." Right?
Yes.
But we live in a world that's not always going to be able to accommodate people that are
But we
plus
should
size.
though. We should because we not all the same. You know?
Well, that's some utopian bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like we should. Like, why not? I feel like a lot of times people think that bigger people, obese, the F word people should just be in a house. When it's like
No, they're saying the opposite. They want you to get out of the house and exercise.
Move that body, lady.
Yes.
yeah, the F word. I'm not
The word
about
that
to
you can't say in your house.
You can't say the F word.
Fat?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fat. You don't like it.
Oh.
I'm not saying that word.
Yeah, we don't use that word in my house
Okay.
either.
I thought you talking about the gay slur. I'm like, wait, I'm confused.
No.
No.
But I just feel like it should be accommodated. Bigger people should be accommodated, just like we accommodate the LGBT community. All those other communities.
Well, I don't think they have to add extra seats on the
Yes.
plane.
Yes.
For-
Or give you a sectional.
Yeah.
Like pull it
I
from the
just
back
feel
room.
like we outside. If we inside is get up. Why you in a house? You should be doing this. You should be doing that. When we outside, it's like why you not in a house?
Well,
Why
people
are you
would
out
say,
here?
okay, just.
Who actually told you that? Because, that's crazy. I don't believe that, F people should stay in the house. I mean, but...
F people.
She's using it. She's accommodating. It's very nice of her to accommodate that F woman.
This is how we ended up here.
Oh, yes.
As soon as pronouns became acceptable to change your language, now anything.
That's how it is. We go outside and people looking at us crazy, like we getting stared at for what? Because we big.
Anything outside of the status quo is looked at that way.
Yeah, no matter what you look like, your hair is freaking. You got tattoos on your eyeballs.
I think that everybody should accommodate the fact that I am shorter than the average male in America. The average male in America is 5'9" or 5'10". I am 5'6". Oh, sorry, 5'6.5".
I'll get that
5'6.5". And everybody should accommodate me. Kind of like. Maybe when we take pictures, everyone should kneel down to my height so that we're all the exact same height.
That's fair.
When we take a photo, because I don't want to feel like less of a person because I'm standing next to someone taller than me when we're taking pictures.
I agree. I want to be accommodated because I'm left-handed, so I don't have any left-handed hammers. They don't make any left-handed hammers out there or drills.
Do you wait? So you're do you do everything left-handed?
Except for like bat.
Okay.
And golf, I do I right ways, but I kick other ways.
I throw a baseball left-handed.
Yeah.
I play hockey left-handed. I bat left-handed. I shoot a gun right-handed.
Oh, okay.
And
that's
different. So I shoot firearms right-handed, and I write right-handed.
Oh, that's different.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Biko Studio says, "Hey, I'm crowdfunding a sci-fi short film called Beryllium." Hopefully I got that right for you, buddy.
Beryllium?
Beryllium, there we go. On Give, Send, Go, that champions family, preservation, and innovation. I'm sorry, I'll get better. I'd appreciate if y'all could give it a look and see if it's a project you would like to support.
Guys, you should go over to Give, Send, Go and check it out. Family, perseverance, and innovation are all things that people would like to support and see grow as far as stories being told.
It's got a nice Ethereum name to it.
Yeah, I like it. Go check it out. Yeah. So I don't I don't imagine that anybody expects everybody to be accommodated all the time. In fact, you do yourself a disservice when that starts to become the norm. When you start to expect everything all the time. What I find is that when you expect nothing, then you're just pleasantly surprised when stuff actually does happen.
Yeah, it's a better feeling.
Right? It's a better feeling. So that was the cringe of the day.
That was insane.
I can't even. These days. All right,
Did you
guys.
see, real quick, did you see when she was dancing? She was doing the dances on the stage. One of her videos, she was dancing.
Yeah, and she fell. She fell over.
Yeah.
She toppled over. Oh.
She was like a turtle trying to get up.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was rough, guys. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. So, guys, I have been covering this week. I've done several videos on Captain America Brave New World. I covered the fact that the director of the film has tried to kind of shield Anthony Mackie from the criticism and save the movie before it came out because he tried to bring everybody in and say, look, this isn't an anti-American movie. His comments were taken out of context. I also covered the box office that's coming up for this film. It looks like it's going to get a middling release at best, you know, on par with Captain America Winter Soldier. The problem is Captain America Winter Soldier came out in 2014, and $95 million in 2014 is not the same thing as $95 million now when you think about inflation and the price of tickets now these days. So what happened is last night they had the premiere for Captain America Brave New World, and at that premiere there were pro-Palestine protesters outside of the event, which I actually find completely believable given the fact that Disney has courted a pretty protest-heavy audience, and the movie includes a character named Sabra, who in the comics was a Mossad officer and a mutant. They have taken away both of those attributes. Now it is a U.S. government agent that goes by Sabra and was a member of the Red Room, so I guess presumably that would make her Russian alongside Black Widow and Yelena. But what's funny about it is it doesn't matter because right now protesting for something like this is all in because people are very, very mad about the election of Donald Trump. So they're going to go out and protest all sorts of things like this. But let's go ahead and let's cover what it is and we'll watch this quick video about it. So here's the clip. We'll show it first here.
They have protests from... Oh, there you go.
Yep, here we go.
Boycott Disney! Disney, you can't hide!
It says Disney supports genocide.
Yes.
How can you make a Captain America movie when there's a genocide going on in Gaza?
How dare they?
Genocide! Summer, what do you say? How many kids have you killed today?
Sabra?
Yeah. I don't think Sabra killed any kids personally, but you know I haven't watched the movie yet.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Every time Disney lies, a little kid in Gaza dies.
It's okay. So I'm sorry. There is nothing that modern day leftism has done better than hijack the maternal instinct of young women and refocus it on social justice causes that have no solution.
Yes.
That's
taking perfect.
They're taking a political cause and they're turning it inwards on a Disney Marvel superhero movie. Now, if you wanted to make the commentary that, you know, in a lot of times films have strong political influences, commentary, and have things to say, that might have been true a decade ago. The idea that there's deft storytelling to be done these days with all sorts of great political intrigue, when we come to the big blockbusters, I think you're crazy. There may be some of that in your A24 films, but not a lot of the stuff that Kevin Feige is putting out is exactly ripe for being, you know, reanalyzed as political fodder. A lot of it in 2021 perhaps was, but most of it was it was cookie cutter, boilerplate, modern day social progressivism that showed up in stuff like Captain America, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or other such business. But most of the time, it's not that deep, and instead, you've got kids out here protesting for something, and it's insane.
And you would think that they like Disney, support Disney, because Disney they support their LGBT, the reimagined modern audience.
Yeah.
And now they're just, and they're going against them because of this one ordeal. So Disney's has the right protesting, kind of in a way, not really protesting.
Yeah,
but
they can't win.
Yeah.
They can't win. The left is protesting them because they don't go far enough, and the right is protesting them because they believe they go too far.
Yeah, they're ruining everything.
So here's how they changed the character. It says, she is Israeli but not Mossad. Now she works for the U.S. government. This was from Nate Moore, who also recently confirmed that they are not looking to recast T'Challa, which I also think is a mistake, and they should be doing that. What we thought was interesting was that a lot of characters in the film revolve around President Thaddeus Ross. Ruth works within the government under Ross, so her perspective on that character and Sam's perspective sort of put them on a collision course. She's first-generation Israeli, but she works within the U.S. government. We're trying to take the essence of a character but reinterpret it in a way that we find interesting. No, you're trying to reinterpret it in a way that won't get you backlash, but what you're learning, as is always true, is it doesn't matter how much you acquiesce, they will end up eating their own anyways. Right?
Yeah. Real quick on this, ladies. So they're going to make her a Russian bad, of course, from the Red Room.
But she's first generation Israeli.
Yes.
I don't know, unless they're trying to say that she wasn't Russian. I don't know.
And she works for the government, so they make her a Russian.
It's really funny because
spy?
I've been listening to a retrospective about the Americans, which was a 2010s story about a pair of Russian deep cover spies living in America with a family, and it's like, you can't really aspire to that level of deep political intrigue in current year. You especially couldn't do it, during the latter half of the first Trump administration, because everything just became, hammer over the top of the head, no subtlety whatsoever. But there was a lot of great storytelling in that show. And I don't think that this is going to help the show any, because I don't think it's going to hurt the movie any, because I don't think any of these people were going to go watch it anyways.
No.
I really don't. I think that most of them, if they did see it, they would end up pirating it later. And then, and the funny part being like, oh, I love that movie, but then they just pirate it, so they don't actually end up supporting the company. I am going to see it over the weekend. I did see some people saying, please don't spend your money. I can't do that, unfortunately. It's great, but I'm not a boycotter, and it's part of the job to interact with the material, right?
I kind of want to, just because it's Captain America, I'm a huge fan of all the Captain America movies. Kind of want to watch it, but I don't want to give them money. I think I'll wait for you to give me a review.
Yeah. Unknown says, I thought they were recasting. They did not recast. They just changed the origin of the character for this. So there's more bad news when it comes to Captain America Brave New World. So it opened with a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes and almost instantly dropped to 48%. It actually dropped to 47 and then went up one. Let's see where it's gone now. So it's gone back up to 52%. Okay. The problem with that, guys, is that this is the fourth movie in the Captain America franchise. Of course, the first three were played by Chris Evans. And let's look at what the critics' ratings, again, we're not talking about audiences here. The audience ratings have not come out yet. Let's look and see what the previous critics' ratings were for these films. So Captain America First Avenger was an 80%.
Okay.
Captain America Winter Soldier, my personal favorite Marvel movie, 90%.
That was a great movie. And
Captain America Civil War, 90%. So you have an almost 40% drop from film to film. And this is, of course, a new take on the character. The other thing that I thought was funny about it was that if you go through a lot of the reviews, they actually say, like even some of the positive ones say nice things, or say like bad things, even though they claim that the review is positive. So they're trying to couch it in the most positive language, even though it's a negative review. So some of these say, let's go through some of the positive ones. Ambitious in its action and political spectacle, it is Brave New World's grounded dissection of the character that proves its admirable quality. Which is weird because a lot of other people said the movie dances around the politics so heavily because it clearly got reshot several times to make it as politically inoffensive as possible, that by trying to say everything, it says nothing, because they don't want to actually hone in on a specific message because they're terrified that that specific message will be rejected by the audience. Making matters far worse is the film's blatant plan to be as inoffensive and apolitical as possible. As a result, it's a raging bore on top of being nearly incomprehensible. Well, that kind of throws water on the notion that people were saying that this movie wasn't reshot a bunch of times, when a lot of other people are saying that the film itself seems confused and disjointed.
For the folks who've seen it already. Okay.
So it says, Marvel goes back to basics with a lean, fast-paced throwback to Tom Clancy potboilers and its own Winter Soldier Phase 2 mold of solo franchise multiverse. What's that? Sequels to largely satisfying results. Yeah, that was a bunch of word salad.
I was going to say, what is he talking about there?
Captain America Brave New World is a politically safe, average film that barely moves the MCU needle. By the way, that was a positive review. That was a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
A 7 out of 10 says it was a bore.
Yes.
That didn't do anything for anyone. Though it ties together threads from the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, Brave New World is neither particularly good nor bad. It is just another Marvel movie.
What was that score?
Yeah, that was 5 out of 10. Oh no, that one doesn't give a number score. Let's go back to some of the more positive ones. I just think these are funny. Plays like a rhyming piece with the Russo brothers' work on Winter Soldier, but for anyone hoping for more than secondhand nostalgia in a 2025 film homaging a 2014 film homaging a broad simulacrum of the 1970s, Brave New World is likely to disappoint. 7 out of 10.
Likely to disappoint, but
7 out of 10. They're terrified. They don't want to be seen giving it a bad review. Brave New World isn't particularly bad. It just exists. B-, and that's rated as a positive review. I also can't say the standard expectations for Marvel movies at this point aren't met. This is not the first Avenger, but I don't at all mind watching Sam hang on to the shield. Even the positive reviews are as lukewarm as you can get. Captain America Brave New World surprised me by not being what I thought it would be. It kept the history of Captain America films as the best sub-series in the MCU by holding to likable stories and strong, relatable themes to give a good superhero movie. No review for that one. No rating for that one. A strong testament to why Sam Wilson was the right choice to carry the shield, Mackie delivers his best performance yet. The action is entertaining and the story remains engaging. There are a few flaws that hold this film back from being great, though. Again, I feel like a lot of the positive ones are still middling when you think about what a positive review should actually be.
I feel like they're saying the same thing too. There's good action. It's not political. It's kind of a bore.
And that's what they're saying, is that it's slightly empty. Sadly, the reviewer that I trust more than anyone, Jeremy Johns,
oh, you like that guy?
He gave it better off if you're drunk, which is not exactly the best, you know. You'll have to keep an eye on the audience score, because the thing that actually matters for a movie like this, as we all know, I went through some of the critics' boilerplate first takes. That's not what matters. What matters is the audience score, because even if the audience score is high, you have to discern whether that's because people have an allegiance to Marvel or whether they actually enjoyed it. Nothing about the critics' reviews seem like it's the type of movie that's going to garner the type of buzz that gets people to go back and see it multiple times. And the best way for movies to do well these days is to have strong word of mouth, because people don't trust critics anymore. People tend to trust their friends and family saying, hey, I enjoyed this movie, you should go see it. You can't judge a movie like this based on its opening weekend box office. What you have to pay attention to is whether the box office in week 2 has a substantial drop, because if we're in the high 60s drop from week 1 to week 2, that signals that the movie has lost all its steam already. And despite the fact that this movie is supposed to supposedly open to $200 million worldwide over the 5-day week or the 4-day weekend, because it's President's Day, a good chunk of that is overseas. And if your Captain America movie can't have a stronger opening here in America than it does overseas, then that spells trouble for your Captain America movie. So be on the lookout for whether the reviews from audiences are good, because the only way this movie is going to truly build up any steam whatsoever is if the film actually does well with audiences who then tell their friends to go see it. Yeah, and I will probably review it when I get back from out of town.
It's got to be like Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have a great opening, but had legs because everyone passed the word.
It
kept going.
It walked to like $850 million. Right?
But it got there, yes.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. All right, let us move on. We got more stuff to get into today. So one thing remains true, absolutely. Despite the fact that a lot of Hollywood seems to be in this pattern where they're trying to kind of acquiesce to Trump, and they're trying to acquiesce to Trump's fan base by trying to make content that's apolitical once again, most of us understand that that is not absolutely true of any of the actors, and what they're actually doing is they're just trying to make money. I don't actually dislike this approach. I think the best way to get people to make the content that you want to see is not to try and convince them that you're ideologically correct. It's to convince them that the best way for them to make money is to make products that align with your values, because trying to force people to agree with you just doesn't work. At least in my
No, you're right.
It does not work.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah. So what's going on right now is, despite the fact that there is this cultural shift going on right now, there are still plenty of actors who absolutely hate Trump and are coping super hard. Did you see some of these?
I did. I seen Richard. I seen the Judd one.
Richard Gere, Judd Apatow, Cardi B, and Chelsea Handler. It's like a who's who of people with TDS. So this is what Richard Gere had to say. I just thought this was funny because it's always at award shows.
Yes, and it's usually in Europe.
Yeah.
I don't see him too many times saying it here in the United States.
There's two things that are always going on. There's always some award show or luncheon or dinner, or there's always some sort of women's summit going on somewhere any day of the week. So Richard Gere says, we are in a very dark place in America where we have a bully, a thug who is the president of the United States. But it's not just in the U.S. It's everywhere, he said, repeating an accusation he made of Trump in 2016 where he says the guy is obviously Mussolini.
It's a new one. He's always the guy, the Otzi, never Mussolini.
I can appreciate him taking a different direction, right? It's like, I wonder if Trump's ever like that. He's like, oh, finally. He's like, everybody calls me Hitler. It's kind of nice to be called, a different dictator.
A real fascist.
Yeah, that's awesome. He goes, and he's a clown and a demagogue. Authoritarianism takes us all, he repeated on Saturday. The caustic appraisals by the Pretty Woman and American Gigolo actor follow criticisms he made of Trump at a press conference in Granada on Friday. During Saturday's gala, Spanish actor Antonio Banderas presented Gere with the honorary award for his extraordinary contribution to the art of filmmaking. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to make political statements unless you're winning like a real award. Like, I don't think you should make political statements at all, but if it's just some type of subjective, like, lifetime achievement award, no.
Right, it's you need a Grammy or something like that. Oscar.
Even those are subjective. I don't think we should have any award shows anymore with those types of voting rules. I think that you should use those voting rules to get everybody into like the top 5 that get up for the award, and then they have to compete in some type of skills game. Like they have to play darts, or ping pong, or words with friends. They could have a digital Words with Friends match, and then the winner of that is the winner of the award. It would be way more entertaining for everybody else.
You can give money to charity.
And then,
you watch it.
And then if you win that, you can make
you're allowed
your
to
political
talk.
statement. Yeah,
then you can speak.
He says, during his speech, Gere said of the dark marriage of power and money like we've never seen before. Well, that's if you ignore like the endless amounts of American politics over endless administrations that have linked together private business and government to screw the American people. But, let's pretend it's a right versus left thing. We know that this is not a right versus left thing. The fact that these irresponsible and perhaps dangerously corrosive billionaires are running everything in America right now is a danger for everyone on this planet. They have turned billionaire into a slur.
Yes, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
He's the richest man in the world.
They never say about millionaires because they're millionaires.
No, yeah. They are just stuck in their bubble, and they have awards just to have awards to pass out and pat each other on the back. Yeah,
I would like to see award shows disbanded unless you can write like a really good essay on why this award show is necessary, and you can't use any buzzwords. That would be good.
That's a good thought process.
They would save a lot of money, too, if they would stop putting on these. But, of course, maybe these award shows will end now that USAID is being audited. Maybe that's where all the funding for all of this stuff is coming from anyways. It's basically what started Gamergate, right? All right. Judd Apatow's is the worst, though, because Richard Gere at least kind of made it like he vaguely understands politics. Judd Apatow is extremely boomer-coded in his insult. So it says, the writer and director whose credits include Knocked Up and Funny People was in Los Angeles for an event.
Oh, another award show.
They're always at events. He says, my pronouns are we're fucked. That's so funny, bro.
That's very, and what's that, transphobia of him to say that?
Yeah, you can't say that. He said on the stage of the Beverly Hilton, again, if you're at the Beverly Hilton, you should not talk about politics. Blanket rule. He acknowledged that there were probably stars in the room who voted for Trump and let loose. He told the audience, quote, there's a good chance that some of you in this room voted for Trump. I won't judge you. He goes, I won't judge you. I won't judge you, but God will.
Oh, that's mean.
That's funny considering, that pretty much everyone that opposes Trump is pro-choice, and I would imagine that the religious folk that are watching the show would say that God would be more likely to judge the pro-abortion crowd. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're definitely not right. Or wrong, I mean.
Hey, that was rude. He says he also took aim at anyone in the crowd who owned anything from Tesla CEO Elon Musk, of course, because there is now, well, there's also Trump derangement syndrome. There is also Elon Musk derangement syndrome. So he says, if you're the owner of the Cybertruck in the parking lot, please go F yourself. That's so edgy, bro. I wonder if he spends time on Reddit.
He might. Yeah. I want to. What did you just say again? He said,
if you're the owner of the Cybertruck in the parking lot, please go F yourself.
Yeah, so he's very mad. I know he's going to be making a movie about Stormy Daniels. So it says a lot about where he stands in his politics.
Is it like a documentary?
No, it's a real movie. It's going to be like the Trump movie they just made.
Oh. So she's going to be the hero of the movie?
Yes.
I can't wait.
She's got to be.
It's going to be great. He says, maybe I should make TV that MAGA people would like, he said. Like the Real Housewives of January 6th. When I read that,
oh, sweet.
I went like this. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. This can't be real.
We don't watch reality TV, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, there are definitely
some.
There's definitely some conservatives who probably secretly watch it.
Yes.
Conservative women.
Well, they love 90 Day Fiancé and stuff like that.
Yep.
Which is fine.
It's just really funny. Again, if you want to make TV for people that MAGA people like, maybe just try making apolitical TV because they tend to be okay with that too. They're like, one of the things I hate more than anything is politically motivated TV that goes either direction. So I'm not a huge fan of television shows that pander to either side. Like, again, I tried watching Shifting Gears, the new Tim Allen sitcom, and I can't stuff that panders to the boomer right-leaning audience either. If anything, I want stuff that's as apolitical as possible.
Yes, we want a good story. And real quick, my bad, they follow her behind the crowd for the Stormy Daniels thing.
So it's like a documentary.
Yeah, from the last 5 years ago.
Boring.
Yeah.
They should actually make a movie.
I thought that's what it looked like it, but no.
Maybe call it The Perfect Storm.
Ooh.
There we go. I'm for hire. I don't know about the independent contractor laws out here now. I don't think I am for hire.
Sure.
Never mind.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't do that. That's too bad. All right. And of course, we have Cardi B, who this is so funny because first she complains that the Secret Service ruined her shoes at the Super Bowl, and then complains after that Trump deported her uncle.
And then it ends there too, though. I believe that's the last thing she said. I don't know if you know anything about this uncle.
I just laugh because it's like your shoes were clearly the more important part of this.
Oh yeah, first
for you.
A hierarchy of things.
Here's the video.
I'm mad today because Donald Trump and he was at the Super Bowl today, and they was giving us a hard time. Oh my gosh, the Secret Service was not playing in that.
They usually don't. No. Well, I mean that's not true. Last July they did, but that's a different story.
Yeah, it is.
The Secret Service was not playing to get in that stadium. Oh my God.
Turn the chip the other way. It's facing the wrong direction. That's why you're not able to pick up anything in there.
My shoe. Can you bring me my shoe so I can show them how? There was a part that they stopped. What's that called? They stopped all the little carts and because Trump was there. Look how my shoes.
Oh no.
Look at my shoe.
Super expensive shoe. Oh no.
If they're Louboutins, they are expensive.
Shoe cost me 3 bands.
No.
$3,000 shoes. I can appreciate not caring that it makes you sound completely disconnected from the average person, right?
Yeah.
Oh, because of Trump. Now I like him lesser. Because you ain't had to go to no damn Super Bowl. Up my shoe. Now I really like him. Now he's going to have to. Well, he definitely ain't going to do that. Bring my grandma uncle, to come back because my uncle got deported.
Again, I feel like the uncle should have been the first thing that you mentioned. No?
If she cared about him, you would think that, my uncle needs to come back and then worry about my shoes.
And then,
second.
like maybe it's Andy destroyed my shoes.
Yeah.
But instead, she's just complaining that her uncle, as if an aside, like, oh, yeah, and that guy.
And he might be a bad guy because they're going after criminals right now. So, she's got a past history herself of doing things.
I would like to see more of the actors take the approach that they just don't talk about politics. I understand that that's not really the case du jour for most. Actually, no. I'm going to rephrase that. I do think that actually is the case for most. It's just that you hear the stories about the celebrities who speak out about politics all the time, which ends up dragging everybody down with them, and it puts everybody on guard when it comes to anything anybody says. So they end up ruining it for everyone else. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't stop me from enjoying movies. Anything a celebrity says about politics will not stop me from liking something that they've made. Wendell Pierce talks politics all the time. I can rewatch The Wire anytime and get a lot of enjoyment out of it, no matter what. But you can't expect them to not have anything to say when most of the time, like if you're working for a company, you're kind of expected to toe the line for the company a lot of the times because out in the corporate world it's a little bit different. It's so funny because I'm thinking of Phil and Ian going back and forth about like not saying things because it might manifest.
Manifesting.
Like the whole point is to say it here. But if you're in the corporate world, a lot of time you're going to be expected to toe the company line because you're there to do a job. Now, actors are not that. They tend to be independent contractors who get hired to do a specific job. I would at least like for them, when they're out making a movie and promoting the movie, to try and be as neutral as possible, because it ends up endearing people to the fact that you want to speak to all audiences rather than just a certain subsect of it. I do think that we are going to go through a couple of years. We're going to see less and less of it. If the way the tech industry is going right now, did you see that Google Calendar removed not just Pride Month, but Black History Month, and made all sorts of changes to their calendar, citing tech reasons to do so. But most people see that as a way to kind of fall in line with the way things are going with current administration. What I want is for everyone to take a more neutral approach to everything. Now, that's actually bad for me work-wise.
Sure.
Because work-wise, I benefit from
that.
celebrities saying crazy shit all the time. And that's 110% true, but I never expect celebrities to actually agree with me. What I want is for them to be encouraged through people supporting their work to make movies that support your beliefs, right? So I don't care if an actor necessarily agrees with me. I care that the movies and the content that they're putting out are good. So you do that by, eschewing the stuff that they say that's stupid, supporting the things that they make that are done well. It's not about a blanket boycott, because I don't think that that's rational or that it's going to bring about the end of Hollywood anytime soon. You're seeing what the pressure people putting on Disney has done, and it has worked, but that's through sheer apathy. It's not through boycotts. They're making bad products and people are tuning out. Not everyone is caught up on the culture war. In fact, most people are not. The average person doesn't know what Bob Iger thinks about politics. They just know that Disney is making crappy movies. So the best way is to support the good movies, not support the bad movies, but not necessarily because the actor said something stupid, but because they're making a movie that isn't worth going to see. I can go see a movie if it's good, even if the actor making it is saying something stupid. If we support good art, we stop supporting, or at least not going to bad art, and ignore what the people are saying politically in favor of supporting the work, not the artist, you will see a lot more change in Hollywood. Now, that's not necessarily the same for independent creators. Obviously, when it comes to social media or YouTube, you want to support creators who share your values. I understand that. But Hollywood as an industry doesn't run on the same business model. No. And in a lot of ways, they want that business model. If you've seen, Amazon and Netflix are both looking to invest way more money in influencers rather than celebrities after the success of Beast Games. Everyone saw the backlash that came about with Mr. Beast leading up to Beast Games, and it did nothing to slow down the success of that show.
And all these stuff that they were mad at him about, besides that his employee, like giving water to folks in Africa or fixing folks' eyes, and all the leftists, they all went crazy about that. Nobody cares what they say.
Well, it was more about his trans coworker.
Right.
That was a big issue for a lot of people. But then it became a lot more about like workplace disputes, and he didn't treat the contestants on the show well. I still maintain I'm of the opinion that I think when that show was being produced, they started leaking those stories about bad conditions during Beast Games to hide the stories about the trans coworker, because the stories about the trans coworker can sink a company.
Yes.
The stories about just boilerplate bad behavior on the set of a game show, that's just going to generate interest for your product.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have 1,000 people...
people are like, oh, he locked us in a room and he didn't feed him. I got to watch this show.
And I signed the waiver for it?
And let's face it, people tend to not have a lot of sympathy for, like, reality TV contestants.
No.
It's like whenever, like, there was a couple of months here where we were covering a lot of, like, these reality TV stars who wanted to unionize.
Really?
And they got, like, even less support than the average everyday actor. Right?
How are you going to unionize a reality show?
I have no idea how they would want to. They just fire you and hire people that don't want to be in the union. That's the difficult part about trying to unionize in non-skilled labor, right?
Yeah,
like
anyone can replace
you could make the argument that unionizing when it comes to your camera operators is one thing, but when it comes to actors, they can just, they have a union, but like stuff that's non-Screen Actors Guild, that's just people who are hired to act stupid while drunk on camera. Yeah. They will just fire you and get somebody else.
Then get any dolt off the street.
Yeah. Who would love, like Mary consistently says, she's like, that would be awesome. Like Mary's dream job is to be a producer for a reality TV show. Oh yeah. She would love that.
What kind of style?
Reality TV. She would love to produce reality TV.
Oh, just like Real World.
Yeah. Well, I think more like 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
Love is Blind, stuff like that. All right.
Good luck, Mary.
All right, guys. Let us move on. Let's go ahead and let's watch the last one. Yeah, I feel bad for everybody that has to learn about this. So one of the things is, guys, is the internet has made a lot of people very, very stupid. And one of the ways that it does this is that the desire for internet clout makes people even more stupid because they're willing to do anything just to get a crumb of relevancy and fame. Look no further to a recent TikTok trend. Yes, just in time before the supposed ban. Wait, is that like 90 days from now? Before the ban goes into effect, we have lived long enough to see a trend where people drop heavy things on their feet to see what happens.
I would think the heavier they get, the more it hurts and the more it's capable of breaking your foot.
You would think so. It says, there is no pain like dropping a sharp or heavy object on your foot, but that's exactly what people are doing on TikTok in a bizarre new trend. TikTokers are putting their pain tolerances to the test by getting random household objects and voluntarily dropping them on their feet to see if they react and rate how painful it is out of 10. Here's the problem, guys. This was something that you would do drunk at a party when you were in your early 20s, and then the next day you wake up with a broken foot and you're like, oh, bro, we were wasted last night. But at least you had some like actual real world memories with real world people to share them with. Sure, you acted like an idiot. We all did when we got drunk and went to parties in our 20s, but at least it was like connected to reality, not to likes and comments on TikTok. So let's watch at least one of these and you can see what I'm talking about here. You're going to love this.
I waited for this.
Here we go.
I'm rating how much it hurts. Tape measure. 1 out of 10. Rubber mallet.
They have a rating system at least. A rubber mallet. Bro. Yeah.
7 out of 10.
Wait, you're only the second object in and it's already a 7?
I want to see a real mallet. I mean, oh, here we go. Jeez.
Oh, why is this even a trend?
Because idiots like you, bro.
No.
Because idiots.
I'm building the suspense on this one.
Okay.
It's a trend because you were stupid enough to participate in it. You have the power in this situation. You can stop this.
You can just not do it, bro.
Okay.
What is that? Is that a propane?
It's a propane tank.
Okay.
I'm of the opinion, let's watch it. I feel like he moves his foot.
Oh, I can't do it.
Oh, it clipped him tiny bit.
That That would be worse.
Yeah, right. The tip of the toes.
Tip of the
I think
Tip
I
of the
forgot to
toes.
rate the golf club and the can of helium. The golf club was a definite 10. That was the worst out of the lot. And the
Wait,
helium
the golf club was the worst, he said.
weren't as bad as the rest, but it caught me in a bad place. So I'll give that 6. Come back for part 2.
You know, he's gonna keep
Dropping
doing it.
things on my foot.
I mean,
Remember bum fights?
oh, I used to watch.
Do you remember bum fights?
Oh, yeah, we used to always watch bum
guys,
fights.
if you're young, remember there was a time
Yes.
when our society was so cynical and bloodthirsty that a guy would go around with a camera and pay homeless people to fight each other.
It was huge too,
And it
that
was
great.
huge. Somehow, this seems worse because that is worse in a moral sense.
Fair.
This is worse in an evolutionary sense, okay?
yes.
You can make the argument that an evil person can manipulate somebody of desperate needs to do something awful. They're not making what? They're making a bit of money off doing this, I guess, but they don't even have to have a guy behind a camera to do it. They get you to film it and do it yourself for likes.
That's smart on their end. Whoever, I wonder if it's someone who worked for TikTok was like, you know what, let's get this trend going. Yeah. Inside deal.
Like, there's just some evil dude at TikTok who's like, what can we make them do this week?
He's got a cat in his lap he's petting.
I haven't watched this one yet.
Okay.
Car Key, 1 out of 10.
Out of 10.
They're all English.
I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's a TV remote.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. Do that free, that one. That wasn't too bad. What am I doing?
It's a full bottle of perfume.
Okay.
Did it? You bastard!
You can hear it go clunk.
The other thing that's crazy about this is he's doing the thing. So like if you grew up skating like me, one of the things you do is you go and you film sections and you film for videos and somebody films you doing dangerous tricks. And you do that thing right before you jump. You go, ready? Good, good. That's before you go and risk injury to land something and perform a skill set. This is not that. He's doing are you ready? Are you filming? Just to do something that where the goal is to get hurt, not to land something, not to achieve something. The goal, the achievement is to get hurt.
I wonder if it's a mind thing. Like he's got to set himself up for watching.
Well, he doesn't want to do it and have their sorry, I wasn't rolling. Yeah.
Yeah. Need my little bit of clout.
What was that?
That was a good 7, that one. Fuck.
Tub of moisturizer, and they spell moisturizer weird.
Oh, fucking hell.
Someone's gonna break one of.
What
They're
was
gonna break
that?
a foot.
Okay, imagine like you have to go to the ER. And they're
Because-
like, so this happened. Like, so I got my shoulder injury recently, which I'm just now getting back from. And whenever you get injured and you have to go there and you have to explain to them, I fell skating, and then they're like, how is that possible? Like what happened? And then you have to explain to them, oh, I was jumping on this handrail. I came off early stair side and slipped out and caught my elbow on the edge of this, or I fell this way. Even that, they look at you like, what are you doing this for? Imagine you go in there hopping on one foot and they're like, what were you doing? He's like, well, I dropped a propane tank on my foot to make a TikTok video.
What?
They're young. I wonder if they even have insurance.
Well, maybe I don't know what it's like in Europe, but
Yeah.
here in America, you still be on your parents until you're 26.
If you have parents.
Yeah. Oh, was that my privilege showing there?
No.
What's the breaks? Just bite me, man.
Hair dryer.
That's it's only 3 pounds. Not too bad.
What was that?
You got a 6.
If he was a real man, he'd do it without socks.
I agree.
Oh, a candle.
Oh,
like a candle in
glass candle?
glass.
Oh, okay. Well, shoot, that's gonna be heavy.
What am I doing, man? 2 minutes. Ready?
Just do it, bro. Just drop it.
He got it like in the worst part too. He got it like right at the base, right before the toes.
Okay.
I feel like you do it higher up if you don't want it to hurt as
Yes.
much.
Yeah,
like
more
closer
pushing.
to the ankle.
Yes.
Why am I giving these guys tips?
Someone's gonna watch you later. I'm like, that's what I should do. Don't do it, Shane.
Fuck.
Where was that? Where was that?
That was a 9. That was right in the fucking toes.
What do you
I'm just
say?
making fun of his accent now.
What the fuck?
Like, imagine doing that and then you get no views.
Yes, and you actually hurt yourself.
Yeah. What?
You-
Do you think that this is all just because of cell phones? Do you think that,
Yes.
like I said, bum fights happening, that's because there are cameras visible? Like, maybe society would be better off if we just didn't have cameras at all?
Oh, it would be a life changer, a world changer.
Did anybody in the chat see that, they're making AirPods now with cameras in the side?
I saw that.
A bunch of really, really, like, the worst person you know is going to start taking really, really bad photos of people now because they're creating that. The only people who benefit from this are pervs and private investigators.
Yeah, what's the use of looking out the side of your head?
I have no idea.
You're trying to
Point
film
is,
someone.
they're putting there's a need to put a camera on literally everything now. Like, I don't even have a car with a camera to back my car up. I have to just.
I mean, that's one of the best things ever invented, if I'm being honest.
85,000 likes, Brett. Yes, 85,000 people are masochists.
Is that what it was?
85. That's how many likes are
Okay.
on this video. And the guy before this had even more. And what's even weirder to me is, like, it's one thing if you're just scrolling, but it's like a lot of these people have followings of people who really like their content. What does it say about the people who supposedly support you and they're like, yeah, I love watching you get harmed?
It says a lot. People love pain. I mean, I feel like everyone, that's why we love UFC. That's why we love bum fights, street beefs.
Yeah.
Everyone enjoys a little bit of pain.
It's, well, yeah.
Not from them, though, from others,
But
of
I'm saying,
course.
like, the reason why UFC is loved is because you're watching two people train to be to go into combat and fight to have a winner.
Yes.
There is no
He's not
winning in
jumping.
this. The only winner in this is the people who get off on watching it because they like seeing other people hurt each other for the amusement of others, and they win by getting a bunch of likes, and I guess it's monetized in some way, shape, or form, but it just seems so depressing to me to use that as a way to get ahead.
We won't win by watching it and have...
Exactly.
you know,
UFC requires talent.
a lot of talent.
Luffy is God says that is how you harden your bones. I could bend iron bars with my kicks. Well, yeah, you do see the videos of the people who like train their shin on the shin bone. Those are crazy. Yeah. Or have you ever seen the videos on Instagram where they roll the bowling ball down a hill and it just hits a dude in the crotch?
No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Like they're sitting down.
Yeah.
And it.
Yep. I mean, I never know whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether the bowling ball is. It looks, judging by the speed in which it's traveling, it looks like it is. But I tend to be very hesitant to believe anything like that. I'm like, there's got to be. He's obviously probably wearing a cup. I hope.
Hope so.
But then, like, are people like purists? Like, you're cheating if you're wearing
Oh,
a
yeah.
cup while you're doing it?
No
That's
cups
even
allowed.
worse. Oh man, guys, this is a sign that society is degrading in a lot of ways, just at a faster rate now. I don't know where people sit on the TikTok ban here in America, but the chances are a lot of people would probably be able to avoid a lot of hospital fees once it happens. So.
But it's big business. The hospitals are promoting
That's
TikTok.
who's doing it right now. They're like, look.
We
made a lot of money when we had the dancing TikTok nurses during COVID. And then we got in trouble for that. People got mad that we were having the nurses dance in choreography dance routines.
With fake dead bodies.
So now we have to get people to injure themselves for TikTok clout so that they can come into the hospital and a TikTok doctor can make a video about that.
And we want, for everyone around the world to do it, so the more money we get.
Do you watch any like YouTube doctors? I just started watching this guy named Dr. Mike who does like a lot of videos where he reviews the accuracy of television shows that have scenes with medicine.
I watch ones like that, but a different aspect. It's usually military guys shooting guns, but
that
kind of reaction.
I
to
love
if it's
the
real or
ones
not.
that the guys who break down like how accurate sniper scenes are in movies. It's like both eyes are closed, but generally you don't shoot with one eye closed when you're a sniper.
No, you want both.
Yes, both. You have to be able to view the terrain.
It's very important.
All right. Let's read some super chats and then we will hang out, guys. All right, let's go back to the top here. This is the hardest part. Little do you know, guys, that is as hard as this show is to do, sometimes it's mainly just because I'm really bad at reading. That's the reason that this show is so difficult.
You haven't perfected that over time?
No, like you'd think I'd have gotten better. Well, like Mary does a lot of the segment reading because Mary can actually read out loud well. I can read fine. I can't read out loud well.
Gotcha.
That's the problem.
So you're capable of reading.
I can read fine, at least as far as I know, but reading out loud I'm very, very bad at. Shane H. Wilder says, "Happy We're Back Wednesday, Brett and Raymond. I'm finally watching Goliath, and and all I can think is that Billy Bob Thornton's veneers, they're too perfect in giving me the heebie-jeebies." Yeah, he has like Billy Bob Thornton has like a unique face to begin with, and he does have those very, very perfect veneers, which kind of run contrast to his more weathered face. Like it's not an insult. He has an interesting weathered face, and he's getting older.
Did you watch Goliath? I watched the beginning of it. It was fairly well.
I did watch Landman recently, though. Yes. That's the thing I've seen him in recently.
Real quick, one of the best opening scenes, I think, out of a lot of shows. The first 7 minutes, I think, was
when he's kidnapped by the cartel guys.
Yeah, and they talk it out. Yeah.
That was freaking great.
Dialogue was killer there.
I was like reading some reviews from people online afterwards. Like, this is nothing like what the oil industry is like. I'm like, I don't care. It's interesting. It's fun. That show is great because it's very, very. It refuses to be a black and white show where one side is right and one side is not. The lawyer is the most annoying character in the entire world. I don't care what anyone says. She is so annoying. Not that John Stewart says, listening to you guys while I clean and then cook. Well, perfect. Bro, that is the point of this show. The point of this show is not to inform you of a bunch of great cultural issues. I ramble and you just kind of tune me out and leave me on in the background. That's good business.
I love that model, the back what's it called, background noise model.
I mean, that's what not as much lately, because lately I've been listening to a lot of like television full-length retrospectives, which I actually have to pay attention to. Sure. But a lot of times when it's if it's podcasts and stuff like that, you just put it on in the background and go about your business. I do that more with music, though. I can literally do that because I put it in my bad ear, and then I can only vaguely hear whatever is being said, so it's actually like background noise all the time. One of Olivia's biggest complaints is I can't do anything in life without headphones in my bad ear. It doesn't stop me from engaging in people around me, but I've always got a headphone in one ear. Red Snow says, do you guys have to talk to Tim about how to increase your PPH, parties per hour? Well, you can help us with that. We can have that conversation with him, but you can help us with that by getting us another crisis party, which we are about 3/4 of the way to. So we're like $30 away. Pat the Plumber says, the best work Adam Sandler has done in years. Nay.
Uh-oh.
That is not true, because Adam Sandler made a sports movie like in 2021 called Hustle. It was a basketball movie on Netflix, and it was really, really good. I enjoyed that movie a lot. You should go watch it. Also, you should go look at some of the behind-the-scenes stuff they're doing for Happy Gilmore 2, which is coming out. They're making.
They're putting out clips from behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's behind the scenes stuff going on. By the way, I did make it.
An hour, 26 minutes.
Did not do it under an hour.
Look at that.
I'm growing and learning every day. Colonel Kurtz. Hello, Colonel Kurtz. She says, I'm Kanye's nitrous dealer. I'm Kanye's new nitrous dealer. Okay, go to my stream. Love y'all. Got to go to my stream. Love y'all. So she's streaming right now.
Oh, she's nice. Yes. I've met her when she was visited.
Yep, Colonel Kurtz is great.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder says, reset the person of interest counter. Yes.
Click.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How long have you think you made it?
6 hours at best. Another funny thing about it is, more than just the show, there was a podcast called Podcast of Interest that was hosted by a guy named David Vox Mullen. He's like a stand-up comedian. He does a lot of podcasting as well. And it was just one of those in the early days of listening to podcasts for me, back when the show was still on the air. I was listening to that podcast like on repeat at work. And unfortunately, like it's not up there anymore. Like the files are no longer there, so I can't re-listen to it. Like one of the things I was excited about when my commute got longer because I came, we moved the studio out here. I was like, I can go re-listen to those old episodes, and they're gone.
Aww.
And I actually tweeted him. I'm like, could you send me those?
Any response?
I asked him if he could rehost them. He said he'd look into it. I don't know if he was actually taking me seriously. Yeah. He might have just been like, why is this crazy guy messaging me
out of nowhere
about a podcast I did a decade ago? But I did kind of try to get him to do that. I would love him to put
Did
those up
that
somewhere.
help you get more into it?
No,
listening?
I mean, I was it definitely the hosts of that one caught a lot of stuff in the interstitial shots in the second unit photography that I didn't catch the first time around. So there was a lot of things that became visual elements that were shown on computer screens that played into later episodes that I didn't catch when I watched it. So they were very good at kind of detailing a lot of that stuff. All right. Biko Studios says, much appreciated. Love what y'all do for us. Well, thank you.
Good luck with that, Biko.
Thank you.
Biko.
See, what do we do, guys, though? Like, what do we do if there is a day where, like, Raymond or someone isn't available to do the show? Should I just, like, bore you guys for an hour by myself, or would that be absolute torture? Because that might be. See, the thing is like,
I think they like it.
When I do the segments, it's a little bit easier because it's just like one. Like when I do like individual segments for the show, it's easier because you don't have to worry about transitioning between topics, and you're not having a conversation. You're just doing a monologue. But one thing that Tim does really well is he can monologue, but he also opens it up to a discussion with other people. And I feel like a lot of times I only know how to monologue and I don't know how to open it up to other people in the discussion as well. Like a lot of times I'll say something expecting somebody to have a point, like to either agree, disagree, or continue the discussion. And then I think about it later and I'm like, why would anybody have anything to fucking say about that? Like it's more like because I'm kind of an introvert, I tend to think in my own head anyways. And I don't realize that that's not really how a conversation works. I can do a conversation, but it's not necessarily the same when you're doing it on a podcast as it is in private.
It's definitely different.
Like it's because like if you're having a conversation in private, you just talk and wherever the conversation goes. When you're doing something like this, you have to keep the focus in a specific place, and not every time somebody's going to have a take on that specific thing. It's a little bit different when it's just me and Mary because we both, focus on the subject matter all the time. Yeah. So we go back and forth almost without thinking about it.
And you know the subject material very well.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to ask people to jump in and be like, hey, can you have opinion on this thing that you don't really think about? Anybody, like, people can do that in politics because most people here have strong connection to politics and care about it and think about it on a regular basis. What we do here is more niche. Yeah. So, all right. Shane H. Wilder says, they aren't staring at you. You're just so big that they can't see past you. I'll show much respect to my fellow lefty, Raymond.
Hoorah. Shout out Shane.
Well, like, what qualifies you as a lefty, though?
I feel like
I know. I'm saying like, but I feel like because I shoot a gun right-handed, that doesn't make, and I write right-handed, that doesn't make me right-handed because all the other things that I do left-handed.
I think it's writing. I feel like
so
that seems to be the determination if you're lefty or righty, what you write with.
It's also funny too because I kick a soccer ball. Granted, I don't kick soccer balls very often. I kick right-footed, but my dominant foot in skating is left.
Oh, I do. I also I write with my left hand, but I kick puppies with my right foot.
Don't do that. What's funny in skating, there's an opposite discussion where you don't have like a lot of, like, some people have left or right foot, but most people it's left or right spin. So you spin naturally one way as opposed to the other.
Oh, like when you're up because you're do the inline.
So like a lot of people who do tricks, they'll do left foot is their dominant or right foot is their dominant, but they can spin both ways. Whereas people in like California, a lot of them, they can only spin one way, but they can use both foot equally well as long as it involves spinning that direction. The human mind is weird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
All right. Jacob Parody says, a Narbar's candle is perfect for Valentine's Day. Well, not if you drop it on your foot. Just don't drop it on your foot.
Yeah, how are you going to deliver it to your loved one if you can't walk?
Yeah. All right. Tom Nagy says, I like Raymond's cap 100. My man. What is it? What does it say?
I don't know. It says something about faith or something. Can I see? I don't know. I have it's a beautiful hat, and I agree, Tony.
Yeah. All right. Tacty Platty says, Brett, my wife loves the show Leverage. Raymond, it's great to see you on today. Thanks for helping PCC out.
Shout out. Glad I can be of assistance.
Leverage is a fantastic show that everyone should go watch. If you want to watch some of the corniest but best storytelling you'll ever, it's the most unrealistic show you will ever watch in your entire life, and Olivia would attest to this. But also, it's kind of a masterclass. We talk about how we want good storytelling, and we talk about how we don't want politics injected into the show. The show Leverage is about these 5 criminals who take down billionaires who are corrupt and hurting people every week, and they managed to do 5 seasons of this, and it almost never feels preachy.
Oh, that's nice.
Ever. Like and it's the worst type of billionaire too, because they're the comically evil ones.
Yeah.
Whereas if you did it now, comically evil billionaires would be done with a sense of malice.
Yeah.
Whereas the comically evil billionaire in this show is a mustache twirling villain, and it's done with a sense of levity. And you just can't recapture that magic today because too many people who write television are too politically inclined. I feel like there was a time where the reason why there was a golden age of television is like, so a lot of these writers might have had strong political beliefs, but they weren't watching or listening to the news 24/7 because of cell phones.
Yeah.
So sure, they might have gone home and watched CNN, or they might have read the Huffington Post or some leftist outlet online, but they didn't sit with the news 24/7, so it didn't automatically seep into their work the way that it does with people today.
Very true. On the hat, on the cap, it says Forgotten Country, Take Back America.
In the chat, I was want to adjust this one. Somebody said they're holding out for a new season of One Piece. I believe that they just wrapped filming on the new season of One Piece, so that should be up for you eventually.
And Leverage, I went and looked up Leverage. I remember this. I thought I knew who it was. Yeah, it was very, very good show. A lot of action. You know, they had the one badass dude, the one smart lady.
Yeah.
You know, they had a whole spectrum of people.
That actor who plays the badass dude, it's really funny too, because he's what I call spiritually short.
Yeah.
I think he's like 5'9" or 5'10", but he just looks shorter than he is. Spiritually short.
I like it.
So he's my representation, even though he's taller than me. And in that show, what's funny about it is, like, if you want to think about how much Hollywood has changed, they talk about how the actress who plays the grifter, it's an actress named Gina Bellman, and she basically talked about how she felt like she had aged out of Hollywood when she got that role, and she was like 38. And that's at the time that was probably true, like, because she's not just, what she means by age out is plays a role where she actually plays like a woman with sex appeal on a regular basis, despite the fact that by Hollywood standards at that time she would have been considered old.
Yes, it's different today though. 38 is ain't much.
Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
Oh yeah,
it's very young.
I hope so. That's how old I am. I can finally start my sex appeal run in Hollywood.
Did you hear that? People magazine.
They can hire me. Pop Culture Junkie says, my Disney source tells me that Captain America is the most tested, previewed, redone film in history, more spent on reshoots than the Dial of Destiny. Well, I wish we could get confirmation on that, dude, because one of the things that they're running with right now is they said the budget was $180 million. And I don't think anyone actually believes that. But what they're doing is they're using it as the, see that, gotcha, take that, you incels. Because they want to make you believe that when the movie has its $190 million opening, there are going to be idiots out there who believe that, see, look, it already made its money back. Despite the fact that they split that $190 million either 60-40 or 50-50 with Western theaters. But if we're talking the Chinese box office release, they split that film 75-25 because the CCP keeps 75% of the profit from any movie sold out that's sold in China. So they want you to think that it's going to make its money back really fast. I don't think anyone actually believes that a movie that's added Giancarlo Esposito like halfway through production, completely cut out an entire storyline with Seth Rollins, and has had endless story rewrites, actually only cost $180 million when it's been in production hell since like 2023.
Yeah, like you were saying, normies might believe that, but anyone who's in the know, like I listen to Flashcasts, Nerdrotic, and yourself, you all know that even if it's 200 million, 180, it's going to be what, another 100 million just in advertising, if that's true. But it's always got to add on.
And they did. I mean, they've done a lot of. Yes, I've seen Travelers to Evan Ward in the chat. They've done a lot of advertising. I've at least seen a lot of like social media ads for the film.
Ditto.
All right, and they just spent a bunch of money on the Thunderbolts trailer too, because they did a Super Bowl ad for the Thunderbolts.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says Alice Cooper put a song out last year called "Shut Up and Rock" about not wanting to hear about celebs' opinions. Just shut up and rock.
Travelers was awesome as well. I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it, that was a great show.
That was the Eric McCormick show, sci-fi show on Netflix. That was at the tail end of the golden age of Netflix and television in a lot of ways. It was actually like, I kind of put it in league with this show called Wallander, where it's like, it was so depressing sometimes because of it had this really, really claustrophobic cinematography, really, really dark color palette, and it was very, very drab on purpose, and it was great, but that is the power of Canadian television. That was a Canadian show.
There's power. There's power in Canadian television.
Yes, I'm the best television on earth is Canadian television between the years of 2008 and 2012, when everything was orange and green. Every show was just colored orange and green. I have no idea why.
Like the tint nowadays is, I always hear you railing about how the kind of
yellow and blue.
Yellow and blue.
Or I'm sorry, did I say orange and yellow and green?
Yellow and green.
But now it's yellow and blue because they're complementary colors. But I'm just bored of it.
Yeah.
Because everything's yellow and blue. And as to Alice Cooper making that song, I mean, most people, like, I kind of go back and forth with people on this because it benefits me when actors say stupid things. So it's kind of hypocritical for me to tell them to shut up. I can tell you why I understand that why people want them to shut up. I can understand why the average everyday person wants to tell them to shut up, but it's hypocritical of somebody to be like, yeah, just shut up, dude, when you know that your job depends a lot of the time on reporting on what a lot of these idiots are saying. So it would be like saying, no, bro, tell me what you think.
Yeah, what's up?
One, because it's not going to prevent me from liking something if it's good, and two, because it gives me stuff to talk about at work.
Yeah, and it's good. Not many people like yourself have that mindset where they can say something idiotic and still go watch them.
Yes, I know that Wallander is BBC. I was just comparing it in tone to Travelers. I mean, that they're both very dour. I used to make the joke that I would have to take Prozac after watching Wallander, but I think it's just their European sensibilities in that show. I would like to watch that again, but one of the, like, kind of like how I won't get Apple TV Plus or Apple TV because I refuse to be I just won't.
Yeah. The other day, Brett was.
I was like, I won't wear a monocle.
Yeah.
And I won't be. I don't have a superiority complex. I don't think I'm smarter than anyone, like all of you Apple TV losers. But much like Apple TV, I won't get the BBC streaming service. I won't get Acorn or BritBox, which have a lot of the BBC shows. But I would like to watch Vera. I've heard that show is good. But there's a lot of British TV that I would like to eventually get around to watching. But sadly enough, I think it actually would have been better for me if we were back in the day and I was still using drugs. I could have probably sat still longer for most of it. These days, it doesn't jive with me.
Is Vera the 10 season long show with the woman?
With the woman, yeah.
Okay.
One thing I love is, like, in America, I don't want casting to look realistic. I want the dudes to be, they gotta look camera ready. Like, if you're a superhero, you should be in shape.
Yes.
And the women should be attractive. The men should be attractive because people want to see attractive people on screen. Now, the European sentiment for television and movies is different, right? A lot of those shows, they're the most normal looking British person you've ever seen. Like, even when you watch, like, like Midsummer Murders, I'm sorry, like Murdoch Mysteries. He's even on the more American scale of like looking like an actor. But if you watch some of the older series, like any of the DCI series, they're just normal looking people. They look like stage actors, not film actors. And the lady from Vera is the most normal looking middle-aged woman you've ever seen in your entire life.
I do get that feel that European folks, they do have way more normal folks. They look like us.
Rhaegar Targaryen in the chat says, Brett in a pocket watch, wearing a peacoat with a top hat and monocle, smoking a pipe. Yes, that's what I imagine when I see people who watch Apple TV. All of those things.
Rhaegar, I pictured that in my brain, so I appreciate you putting that thought in my brain because I can totally see it.
What's the line peacoat from Ace Ventura 2, or he's like, you must be the Monopoly guy. And then he
throws him.
Yeah. Was that 1 or 2? Was that Ace Ventura 1 or 2?
Couldn't tell you myself.
Love that movie. Culture Casino, what's up, dude? He says, let's freaking go. Tulsi, America first is the way.
Does that mean
Tulsi was confirmed? Right?
I'm gonna double check.
I saw that earlier today.
I missed it. I was outside. I'm gonna look. That's awesome. That's amazing.
So how far along is
That's nice.
How far along is the Kash Patel stuff? Is he gonna be confirmed?
Not anytime soon. I think they pushed that one back again too, because they don't want.
Thank you, Jeff Gann in High Voltage. It was Ace Ventura 2.
Oh, nice.
You must be the Monopoly guy. It's so funny because I was thinking about this when they announced Kash Patel for FBI. For like head of the FBI, I was actually on an episode of IRL with him.
Oh, nice.
And that's just a weird thing to think about that you would.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the dude would remember me if I don't even know if I was. He's been here since, but I don't think I've been around. Like my biggest shortcoming is I never go to meet the guests. I would do very well to learn how to network, but I'm horrible at it.
I finally started going over there, sticking around a little bit later because it's actually a good time too.
Yeah. But it's weird to think about like you did an episode of a podcast with this guy who's now possibly going to be the FBI director.
She did get it 52 minutes ago. They said she's sworn in.
All right, Dr. Freakhoff says Cardi B is GHETTO trash.
Yep. That is very true.
Weary Traveler says a modern equivalent of bum fights is street beefs. I have not watched it. But it's good to know that the world's
still out there.
Thirst for blood hasn't gone anywhere.
But now it's in 4K as well.
Yeah. Well, that's here's the thing though. Social justice has deluded people into believing that people have evolved and changed when that's not true.
We will always be
People
animals.
have put up a veneer of change, which isn't accurate at all. Oh, by the way, guys, we are $5 away from the second crisis party. We should get that. But the point is that things don't change. But people don't change that quickly.
Ain't no way.
All right. Pop Culture Junkie says, heaviest thing I ever dropped on my foot was my 1990s TGI Fridays menu. Is that I feel like this is like an inside joke. Like he's like, well, if you were around TGI Fridays in the 1990s, you'd know how big that menu was. I have dropped my skates on my feet. Oh. Not pleasant. Okay. Not a pleasant feeling.
Yeah, I've dropped pieces of metal on my feet, and it's brutal.
All right.
Also, thank God for steel toe boots.
Yeah.
F&A, man.
Shane H. Weiler says, the stupidest drunk stunt I ever witnessed was a party boy. You take the shot of tequila, snort a line of salt, and squeeze the lime in your eye. Oh, so it's called a party boy.
Okay, I was like, what?
I was like, so he was a party boy? Who was this party boy? That sounds horrible. Why would anybody snort a line of salt?
I don't.
It's
a trend on TikTok.
I actually feel like that would poke holes in your brain worse than the drugs.
And then lemon in the eyeball, he said too.
That's horrible.
Oh, thanks.
Weary Traveler says, since we're speaking about the UFC on a somewhat related note, ESPN is dropping Top Rank boxing after 8 years. No. The sport is on life support in the U.S. I mean, didn't UFC kind of gobble up all of boxing's market share?
Yes, unless it's something like Mike Tyson or a Floyd coming back. But yeah, that nobody watches boxing.
I mean,
anymore.
that just proves that what really matters most of the time is name recognition now.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't even matter the sport. Half the time, it's a UFC fighter going to boxing or a boxer doing something else. It's just that they have a name that actually resonates.
An influencer or an old man. Yeah.
Maybe one day we can go on Creator Clash.
What's that?
It's like influencer boxing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Does that pique your interest?
I mean, that would be maybe get like somebody to train me to box.
Yeah.
And then go do that. All right. Not that John Stewart says, what flavor today, Brett? Orange dreamsicle.
Oh, hey, we got it. Hey.
Like it?
Yeah.
Better
I
or
like
worse than the last one?
Oh, the last one was amazing. You know what I mean? You can't beat that one. That was too good.
It was.
Eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. That was too good. You should, what's it called? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? You know that just came out. They're protesting the Democrats, and it's which side are you on?
Okay.
Which side are you on?
Wow, they almost got a free one there.
I was like, huh?
Yeah. Brett versus Zuckerberg in the chat. Yeah, let's freaking go.
He's like, but isn't he tall?
I'm guessing we're not in the same weight class.
Yeah, he's got weight. And height.
Shane H. Wilder says the only inaccuracy in Landman was the Midland Airport and Hospital. It should have been Midland Air and Spaceport in Midland Memorial Hospital. They do that for lawsuit reasons, I believe.
Oh.
Like that's a lot of the times the reason. It's like, oh, I watched this movie where somebody died at this hospital, and then you find out you end up there in real life. You're like, wait, was that a documentary or was that a real movie? I don't remember. All right, Omega Red fan sent us a sticker. It's somebody with their hands in their face, and it says, "You're number one."
Aw.
At least I think it says number one.
Definitely talking to me. Thank you, Omega.
Pat the Plumber says, 2 hours of my hero, Brett Dasovic. Yes, please.
Hey.
I'm going to put that on a shirt.
2 hours of
2 hours of my hero, Brett Dasovic. Yes, please.
And on the back it says brain rot.
That will be the thumbnail. It'll say 2 hours of my hero, Brett Dasovic. Yes, please.
With your big old face smiling.
All right. Dingus Khan says, will PCC be streaming on Rumble in the future? So we were not, so the thing is like the Rumble deal doesn't prevent IRL from going its regular time from 8 to 10. Yeah. I just almost had to ask. That's really sad. I need to.
Don't worry, don't sweat.
Pay close attention better. As of right now, there are no plans to make those changes, but you know, it hasn't affected our show. Our show will be running as usual.
And it's 8 till like 10:30, almost 11 nowadays.
I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a Timcast gossip show.
Ooh.
Where I just talk about insider business in the company and just talk shit.
Don't you have
to a million, like instantly.
Oh, you would. Yeah, you go viral day one. Day one.
Like, oh, so and so said this in the.
And then they like. I mean, you know, then he might not be with us the next day.
Yeah, I'll be fired.
But then you got the million. You know, clout.
The joke that we said was like the best show you could ever make would be like it would be like a right wing influencer gossip show, and everybody would hate you, but you'd get. And like you would get endless views
from both sides. From everyone.
Both sides, everyone would love it.
Yeah.
All right, High Voltage 75 says, "Does this guy know how to party or what?"
He does.
Yep.
Guy, he's a big partier.
Tom Nagy says, "Brett, call me Tom again, but say Tom Nodge. Tom Nodge. I'm guessing it's a reference that I'm not gathering right now. Tom Nodge. Unless you mean Doge.
No, Tomoj.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder says, "Party for you." Yes.
Oh,
thank
hey,
you.
thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. I do. I got 2. Goal accomplished.
Tony is laughing in the chat, so I don't know what I missed, but I missed something.
Tony Nagy?
Yeah. All right. High Voltage 75 says, "Foot challenge final boss 45 plate." I mean, like that's no.
Hopefully you're a big old man, so it's gonna break your foot either way, or at least hurt it. But if you're you're looking at 120 skinny, you're done.
I mean, the funny part is like you see the things where there are fake plates that you could do that with, just wouldn't look real. That's how they do it in movies. They put the fake plates on there and stuff like that. Or you get the comically oversized barbells like in the circus.
BC said, "What about call it The pool or Tim Pool drained or the pool is drained.
That would be good. I love that idea. That would be fantastic. That's what I would. That's what I end up doing. We get $1 million.
You'd get your 15 minutes, bro. Yeah. Like real like.
I like
making movies about you.
I like my job too much.
Yes,
I
agree.
My job too much.
I hear you.
Yep. All right, we're gonna hang out with the chat then.
All right, chat. We got 8 minutes.
Yes, we do. I mean, technically, we can go as long as we want.
Oh, we can. We can. Anything exciting?
Maybe one day I'll do a 24-hour stream. One of those ones where they're like passing out and they start being delirious. I would say crazy shit though.
At like hour 24,
yeah,
22 or something.
I would start saying crazy shit. I mean, I almost start saying crazy shit after our 5-hour shows.
Oh, that's right. For when it's you get like 200,000 episodes, or I mean, 200 episodes. You guys go long. I like
every 100 episodes we do like an extended show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Unknown says no one here but Timcast Most Unwanted. That's an X-Files reference. I appreciate that.
Oh, nice.
That was good.
Everyone knows.
Tim Pool's closed. That could be what it's called too.
He is closed.
Yeah.
Rock out with your.
Unknown says chat get love. Well, I'm giving you love right now.
Yeah. Shout out chat. Yeah. PCC chat's a good chat.
It is.
From being honest.
I don't ever look at the IRL chat.
Yeah, it goes too. Well, does it? Everyone says it goes too fast, but I can read it. I'm an expert.
I never look at the IRL chat. Shane H. Wilder says, you like your job, but do you like your suitcase? Actually, that's funny. I got luggage for the first time in my life this year.
Oh.
Like luggage with wheels.
Yeah.
Before that, I always just carried a regular suitcase, like that you had to actually carry like this through the airport.
Like the old school.
It's a very boomer mentality to be like it's a point of pride to put up with it while traveling. It's like, oh man, if it's too heavy to carry, maybe you should be in better shape.
Maybe you should bring it.
Yep. Pop Culture Junkie says the Captain America number is science fiction. Yes, I believe so as well. The budget number.
Oh, yeah.
Gordon Shumway says, that which side are you on is so cringe, you need to play that for Brett. It's like the theater kids that were kicked out of John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance own pathetic group. Sing Informed. I'm confused.
What is he referring to? That which side you're on?
It says that which side, I think you're talking about the protest song.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, which side are you on is so cringe. Yes. You need to play it for. Have you heard it? Do you know it?
No. You'd have to send it to me.
Let's see if we got enough time. I'll do it.
Okay. Rhaegar Targaryen says, which of the superhero movies do you think will be making the most this year?
Good question.
Fantastic Four or Superman? Probably. Here's the thing. Fantastic Four got about 202 million views collectively over all platforms, freeing from this, there's this lethargy surrounding both franchises because Marvel has only had one good movie in a couple of years with Deadpool and Wolverine, and DC is coming off endless bad movies over and over again. Blue Beetle, again, not bad movies in that I didn't like all of them, but bad movies in that they didn't do well. Because I did like The Flash well enough as a movie that I watched once and then completely forgot about. But I felt that despite the fact that he was a prolific criminal, I thought Ezra Miller did fine with the material he was given. But the movies didn't do well. Black Adam, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Aquaman 2, all of them bombing makes it very hard for people who don't pay attention to all of this stuff to understand that the relaunch of Superman is under new leadership with James Gunn, and it's not connected to these other movies. So I feel like the uphill battle that they have is even bigger than the uphill battle for the Fantastic Four, because despite the fact that all three of the Fantastic Four movies really aren't all that well liked or loved, there's still less stigma around that than there is around just how bad a lot of DC has been as far as box office returns in recent years.
I sent it to you in Slack. Also,
yeah. Tony says, call me Tom one more time. I dare you. Was I calling you Tom? I apologize. I did not mean to.
He's having fun.
Or maybe I was doing it on purpose so that you'd super chat again and tell me not to. But that's not what it was. I'm just horrible at reading.
I forgot about, as you're looking up, I forgot about Blue Beetle.
Yes, I did not like that one. I was not a fan of.
I had to look it up. What you were talking about, Blue Beetle?
Yeah, I was not a fan of that one. It
That's-
was too on the nose.
Yes.
Brett, watch NES randomizer via VODs with 4 players on the screen to get good at visual multitasking. I mean, my job involves visual multitasking every single day. I can multitask the job, but as far as reading well, the problem is I'm not good at reading out loud anyways, so I'm at a little bit more of a disadvantage.
Oh, I never sent it. I'm sorry.
What?
I
Not you. Something. Rhaegar says, "Say what again?"
Oh.
Did you send it?
I did. I did.
All right, here we go. Let me see this here. Did not send. The link is dead. Dead link. There it is.
Bam.
Okay, here we go. Let's put this on the screen.
Which side are you on, ladies and gentlemen?
Which side? Oh, this.
Yeah.
Tell me which side are you on?
New Crisis Party song.
Which side are you on? We'll fight against George. We'll
You can stop it whenever you're ready.
No, we landscape within our walls. We'll fight from dawn to dusk. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? Tell me. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
You guys were all so nice to watch today, and then I just made you watch that at the end. That's ruthless. Maybe I'll reuse that for Cringe tomorrow, even though it's like a week old now.
It's always Cringe. Yeah, you can bring it up 2 years from now.
It's like, I will keep playing this until we get a third Crisis Party. Hold them hostage. Shane H. Wilder says, 800 is coming up. I'm already working on a celebratory short for all the major events that have happened in the last 100 episodes.
Nice.
You would be better at that than me because people a lot of times will ask me, like, they'll talk to me or send me messages or stuff on X. Like, you said this on the show. I'm like, bro, I forgot already. I already forgot. Same is true on IRL.
I believe it.
Whatever I say on IRL, that shit's gone from my brain the second it's done, unfortunately. All right, guys. Let me go with this. Before we go, would you guys hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? I want to thank all of you so much for joining us today. Remember, Phil will be back tomorrow and on Friday, so we're going to get through that. I will be gone Monday through Wednesday of next week. We are going to be traveling, me and Olivia are going to be traveling out of town, but Mary will be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then things should return back to normal on Thursday of next week. So boy with us, we got boys. Bear with us while we get all of this stuff figured out. It's going to be a hectic week, but we are very, very appreciative of all of you for tuning in and making us your daily background noise. We got a couple more super chats here. The Manic Mustache says, what's your favorite injury you acquired while partying? Do you have a favorite injury?
No, none of mine are favorites, but I did get run over by a boat once.
What?
Yeah, it was a good story.
Okay, you have to. You can't, you can't just be like, oh yeah, tune again later.
We were
more.
partying on the Lake Wallenpaupack up in northeastern Pennsylvania, and I was in the very front of the boat. You know how you hold I was just holding a pontoon boat.
A pontoon?
Pontoon boat. There we go. Yeah. And I was holding the front gate, and my buddy hit the brakes.
Okay.
And when he hit the brakes, I just started falling backwards. Went into the water, and I was like, shit. As soon as I hit it, thank God he hit the brakes. But as soon as I hit, I went down as far as I can. But I got some cuts and scrapes, and I went boom, 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 boom along the bottom of the boat. But I didn't get killed, which was nice.
That is good.
A lot of the ladies I got out of the water, and everyone was crying because they thought I was perished. But
perished.
It was
good use of the word.
Thank you.
You don't see that one used on a regular basis.
So yeah, that would be my favorite one, I guess.
Excellent. Yeah. I mean, not excellent. It's bad, but
I survived. So
Serenko Productions says, boys. It is. Tammy Lee, thank you for the 20. Says, F no to that. I'm assuming she means using that again.
Yeah.
For tomorrow.
Yeah.
Torture them.
Good call,
Shane
Tammy.
H. Wilder says, new thumbnails, new set, and the play button. See, yes, all of those things have changed, but it all blends together to me. All right, Raymond, since you are still alive and you did not perish in that boating There was no boating accident. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Brett. Thank you for having me today. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. I'm on X, at Raymond G. Stanley. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. on internet. Feel free to search me and then find out what my deepest, darkest secrets. But yeah, Mary, feel better. I had a great time. You chat rock. Thank you, Brett.
All right, no problem. Again, remember, guys.
Real quick, I just wanted to toss out to you. My mom watches the show when I'm not on it. When I first introduced her to it, now she watches it, and you are one of her favorite talents. She gets a kick out of you. She loves laughing and your humor.
Yeah, well, who wouldn't love my humor,
yeah.
right? I have a fantastic sense of humor. Everyone in the chat agrees with me.
They have to.
All the time.
Yeah.
They do. I tweeted last night. I was tweeting that. Olivia was making pasta, and then I opened a sauce jar for her.
Oh, nice, manly.
I said, last year, she asked me to open a pickle jar. I said, I've been waiting for this moment my entire life.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I said, I have once again fulfilled my relationship obligations. She's lucky to have me.
And now you're done for the year.
You guys are all so lucky to have me. So, guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here usually 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, which is noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would like to listen rather than watch the show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, and one more here from Shane H. Weiler says, Raymond's darkest secret is he's bad with knives. That's true.
It's not very secret.
It's not a secret,
yeah,
though.
I think we all.
All right. All right, guys. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see y'all then. Bye, everybody.
See us.